Hello and welcome to Unexplained Possibilities Podcast. I'm your host, Melvin the Crimson Taurus, and with me today is that dealer of mystic goods and artiste extraordinaire, the third eye mystic herself, the happiest of sad girls, and also someone who gets annoyed with all the titles, the ever so lovely Niema.
Hello, everyone.
You shouldn't do so much and you wouldn't have so many titles.
I know we have this talk every time.
So, be lazy like me.
True.
Now,
True.
as you guys can see, Niema and I are not alone. So, yeah, this is one of the few times where Niema is here with me and we actually have a guest, and not just any guest. This is someone who, well, let me just tell you. You can consider her or call her a yogi, which is someone who teaches and practices yoga. But more than that, she is a dream interpreter extraordinaire. You like that, don't you?
I
Extraordinaire.
do.
So please welcome for the first time to Unexplained Possibilities, the dreaming yogi herself, Meli.
Hi. Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, thank you for joining. And thank you guys in chat. Hello, everyone who's with us. So, we're just going to jump right into it. And you got to tell me, how the heck did you become a dream interpreter?
Well, it's a long story, and I'll try to make it short. But it started with my own journey back in 2015. I was having a lot of insomnia, panic attacks. Dealing with just severe anxiety that led to agoraphobia, meaning I wouldn't leave my home for about a year. And going deep right away. But I started noticing that dreams were reoccurring, just ones that I felt were nightmares. And just by getting that understanding of what the dream was trying to tell me and seeing how the dream itself started shifting as I was doing the inner work with my therapists, psychiatrists, and my holistic journey as well, that's what got me like super obsessed with it. And I just wanted to keep learning more for myself, and then I was just sharing what I was learning as a hobby at the time. And then I found that I can help other people who also deal with anxieties and suppressed emotions.
And how does the yoga come into play with this?
Yeah, well, yoga was one of the first things that I was doing to kind of really get out of my headspace. And, the first thing that you hear of when you are dealing with anxiety, at least what I heard, was do yoga, do breath work, meditate. And I'm like, I can't really sit still for a long period of time. So hired a meditation coach and started doing yoga in my home since I wasn't leaving my home at the time. And there was a period of time where just seated, I got like this inner voice inside my head telling me like everything's going to be okay. And it was the first time my inner voice was nice to me. So that kind of just opened my eyes, and I started studying yoga and dream interpretation hand in hand.
Okay, that's freaking awesome. And if you have to get up and move, go ahead and get up and move if you can't sit still for however long we go for. So, all good. I'll just talk about you like a dirty dog while you're gone. Uh, so, now the inner voice thing, that's interesting because I've read that some people don't actually have an inner voice. And I'm curious, what does your inner voice sound like?
Well, she used to be a lot more critical. I think that's the Virgo in me that always wants to be perfect and expects too much of myself. But during this journey that I have been on, and now I made in my business, I have been a lot more kinder to myself. That's the inner voice is a lot more gentle.
Okay, good. I'm happy she's more gentle. You don't want to have to slap around your inner voice. How would that look? Like what, slapping your head or something? I mean, that'll get you thrown in the nut house. Um,
Yeah.
so I don't know if you're actually will be able to answer this or not, but what are dreams?
Dreams, the way I see them, are messages from your subconscious mind. And, when you're in waking life, your conscious mind is rationalizing things. Maybe somebody said something that rubbed you the wrong way, and you start rationalizing like they didn't mean that. You just start second guessing yourself and thinking just in the mind space. But when you're asleep, the conscious mind is asleep as well, and the subconscious, which shows your emotions and your feelings, speaks to you with your through images, and shows you exactly what you're feeling, what your deepest desires are, your needs, what needs to be worked on, all of that.
Now that's interesting. Your deepest desires. So this is going to be a little lewd, but people who have the naughty dreams or whatever. So does that mean like they just really want to get laid, or is it? I'm curious about that. I of course, yes, typical guy, but
Yeah.
not
Let's
that
get
I
it over
have
with,
dreams
shall we?
like that. I,
I mean, dreams are more symbolic than literal. So it's not necessarily sharing that, although it could be showing that. Depends on the person who's having that dream, Melvin.
it's not
um,
me.
but it can also just show like the certain urges that you have. So for example, in dreams, the way that the subconscious shows you what it wants to be worked on, what it needs to be looked at, is through feelings. So whatever emotion comes up when you're having those naughty times in waking life, it's what's going to show up in the dream as showing you like this is the urge that I feel for whatever else. Does that make sense? Or like if how you
Like
feel.
is the emotion reflecting inside the dream, kind of like if like say you feel the feeling in your dream, is that like what you're not confronting in your waking life? Is that what you
Yes.
mean? Kind of?
Yeah,
Okay.
similar to that, but like for example, the feeling you get when you are out at the beach, feeling the sun hitting your skin or the waves on your skin, or decorating for Halloween, like whatever emotion that brings up, if there's something happening in your life that brings up that emotion as well, or the fear, like that one time that you went into the deep end of the water, like it comes up in the dream because it's kind of looking at past experiences and the
Mhm.
emotion that was triggered in waking life, and your subconscious brings it up from like that filing cabinet of experiences to highlight a situation that's similar to that, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Now that's interesting. That's a good way of explaining that. And we already briefly spoke, and I told you that I don't really have dreams that I recall. They say everyone dreams. Is that true that we all dream? It's just you don't remember it?
Yes, that's one of my beliefs as well. And some things will impact dream recall, like medications. Um, or smoking weed. I recently heard people asking me about that. When they take cannabis, they don't remember their dreams, but they start remembering when they stop taking it. So that can impact the recall, but there are practices that can be done. It's something that needs to be consistent, kind of like when you work out, you're not just going to have the abs the next day. You have to consistently work on it. And we retain so much information every day that the mind, if you just get up and go, it's going to think that's not something that is worth remembering or retaining.
I think we just found my problem.
Yeah.
Okay. Because, we were talking earlier and I said that, I don't recall dreams. And it's pretty much me just going to sleep, waking up, going, doing whatever I got to do. And I was curious as to why that may be. And the just getting up and going, that fits me.
Yeah.
I what about you, Niyama?
What do you mean?
Well, like how many dreams do you have a
I
night or
I would say I remember pretty frequently. Like, let's see, I've remembered two dreams specifically, three this week. So I think that's pretty frequent.
now, what about bad dreams or nightmares? Can you tell us where that possibly originates from or why we have them?
Yeah, I mean, nightmares are essentially just dreams, but they have that fear element, and it's just showing the fear that you're living in your waking life. So it needs to dramatize it in the dream so that you actually listen to it. It's basically like your subconscious shaking you into paying attention to something that you're ignoring in your waking life. And the more gory it is, the more repetitive it is, it's just nagging you to look at it and address it.
Hmm.
I'm like thinking of so many dreams already, and I'm just psychoanalyzing it.
Now,
Like, oh, okay.
I'm going to bring this up because this is a very good friend of mine. Shout out to Benny. Hi, Benny. And this is a dream that he's had, and it's a reoccurring dream. This is going to be very weird. I'm putting this mess out there, but whatever. Um, he always has a dream about being chased, but he's not being chased by people. He's not being chased by animals. He's being chased by a giant thing of poop. So, what's your take on that, if any?
I mean, chase dreams are really common, but we would need to ask him a lot of questions, like what is this poop representing for him? In chasing dreams, since that one's very common, you're usually running away from something. It's not literal, like in waking life, you're not actually running from something. It's something that you're trying to avoid, hide out from, not look at, and just kind of, push under, and not really look at it. But the element of it being essentially crap, right? So what crap is he running away from? That part we would just need to ask him a lot of questions to see what he is relating that to.
We're
Yeah,
gonna
like your shit is catching up to you.
Yeah.
we're gonna. When are you going to get your doctrine in psychology? So we can get you on board here, because I think you would have a field day with him if you ask some questions. But that's interesting though, with the chase dreams, like you're running away from something, and I think this is another common one. Niam and I, we did a show 2 years ago now, and we were looking at common types of dreams or whatnot, and one that I recall specifically, because I've never had it, was teeth falling out. And I know that you spoke about this, and hopefully you don't mind speaking about it on Unexplained. That's okay.
I don't mind. Yeah, so teeth falling is another common one. This is connected to, like we were talking about the chakras earlier, the energetic wheels in our body. So I connect that to the throat, something that maybe you are not saying, vocalizing, that you're holding back. It could also be something in the sense of biting more than you can chew if you have too much on your plate, metaphorically speaking. So it's usually tied to a lot of anxiety and having that feel like it's just too much.
And this is where we're going to actually go back to the yoga, because you were saying how, of course, you were dealing with anxiety, and yoga helped you with your breathing exercise and everything, because that's the key with anxiety. You start to breathe very quickly, your heart just da 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 da, and it is about controlling yourself, controlling your emotion. You get good enough, you can beat a lie detector test. And not that I'm advocating that or I have experience with that, um, but probably would have helped some people on Maury. But with yoga, what would you recommend for people who have anxiety? They're having these chase dreams, the dreams where teeth are falling out, and they're waking up in a panic. What type of yoga would you recommend to them to do and help them calm down?
Yeah, so I find that for calming down, usually people recommend restorative yoga or the type of yoga where it's more gentle, slow flow. I do find that when you have anxiety, your mind is going a million miles per hour. So it might be hard to just drastically go into just staying still, like I mentioned earlier, and doing soft movements. So maybe like a vinyasa, which is more of it's still continuous movement with the breath to really align the breath with the poses, and then transition into more restorative poses that will help you sleep better at night as well.
Okay.
So things like, yeah, like child's pose, pigeon pose. You can even do some poses in your bed that are comfortable, with props that are just going to help you, settle into the night.
Yeah. Child's pose is awesome. Um, Now, would Tai Chi work for this as well?
I've only done that once, and that anxiety is a lot of movement that is like trapped, right? So
Mhm.
any type of movement will definitely help shake out and break out that stagnant energy.
Yeah, because I was when you're mentioning movement, I was thinking Tai Chi. It's slow. Well, it unless it's Tai Chi Quan, then you're in there to kill somebody. But that's different. The martial arts nerds is coming out. Get back in there. Anyway, the Tai Chi movement, it is slow and it gets your blood flowing and your chakras going in a certain way. Your chi, as they call it. So I was just thinking about that as an alternative because not everyone can do different yoga stuff. I know I certainly can. Child's pose is the way to go. That's about it. But um, yeah. So the movement and just getting that anxiety out in that way is a good way of looking at it. I never saw it like that before. I just always figured like deal with it. Stop being crazy. Which is what I tell myself. Not good. Doesn't work.
Yeah, and that's why I studied a lot of different things because, like you said, not everybody likes yoga, not everybody wants to use essential oils or believes in crystals. So it kind of creates like a customized protocol for the dreamer that they feel comfortable with, that they're going to resonate with to work through the messages that come from their dreams or the anxiety to get them sleeping and then dreaming.
Okay. Nima,
Hmm.
do you have lucid dreams?
Where I'm in control and can like say this is gonna change or I want to go back to my body. This is over.
I, I,
Yes.
I mean, would that be considered a lucid dream? I really have no idea.
Yeah, when you know you're dreaming and you can then control it.
Okay, so how does that work? If you know it all.
Yeah, so with lucid dreaming, the more that you work on your dream recall and the more that you become aware and present in your waking life as well, I find that makes it easier for you in your dreams to realize and become aware in your dreams as well. And I think that this is something that would be very therapeutic for people who deal with anxiety because since the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what isn't, you can essentially create that dream environment of whatever it is that you're afraid of, things that are safe in waking life though, and have the confidence in your dreams that's then going to translate into confidence in your waking life. So one of the tips or tricks for this is that the moment that you realize you are in a dream, when you get super excited about it, like for me, it's flying dreams. I don't fly often in my dreams, but when I do, I'm like, oh my God, this is so cool. I'm dreaming. Oh my God, what am I going to do? And that excitement just brings you back out of that and you just lose control entirely. So just relax. It is cool, but then you control that emotion so that you can continue controlling the dream. And you can do some practices like just becoming aware of your hands or noticing certain things that show up in your dreams. A key one would be not many people, I don't know if anybody can, but it's not normal to be able to read in dreams or for light switches and electronics to work. So that would be a good indicator, especially if you're like having a nightmare, you're trying to make a phone call, which happens to me often, and it's just not going through. Like that could be a key indicator that you're dreaming, and then you should.
I think that's so true. Like I've tried to do that one time. That's how I realized I was in a dream. as I was thinking, I kept trying to turn on the light and I was trying so hard. I was looking at my friends and I'm like, this is supposed to work. I don't understand. Like I must be dreaming. So yeah.
You see, that's so foreign to me, where it's just like, whoa, that happens, man. Like, what am I missing out on? It's just so foreign. It's so weird. I don't get it. So, are there any techniques that will help someone dream?
Yeah, so the simplest one would be to actually have a dream journal, even if you don't remember, writing down how you felt, your emotions when you woke up, or just writing, I didn't remember anything today. Doing that first thing in the morning or at night, and at night as well, like just affirming that you're going to remember your dreams. That would be a great place to start, something super simple. And if you're not into journaling, and if you have somebody that you feel comfortable with, maybe you carpool or have a family that you want to share with during breakfast or whatever, like bringing up the conversation of dreams or voice recording them to start reprogramming your mind.
Nima, you're gonna get 6 a.m. text now.
Sorry, I gotta go get my charger. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yep. Go ahead and leave us. You're fired. Oh, it's fine. I don't pay her anyway, so. So tell us about a lucid dream that you've had.
Yeah, so I had one that I was walking home from somewhere, and most of my lucid dreams get triggered by a nightmare. So there was this like coyote looking animal that was chasing me, and I was so frightened that I just stopped and said, "This is a dream," and it just turned into a puppy, and then the rest of the dream was
Oh,
nice.
sweet.
So I find that pattern. But one of the most impactful ones were I was in a dance studio and we were like just doing leaps. I used to dance back in high school and a little bit in college, but so it was that scenario. And I was really working with lucid dreams during that time. I started floating and then I got excited about it. And what I've been working on that I'm still in the midst of in my own journey is asking the dream characters, once you're in a lucid dream, what do you represent? They actually don't like it. If anybody out there lucid dreams and you remember this, ask them, hey, what do you represent? And they will flip out. They act like you're the dream person and they just ignored me. And I've heard many people say the same thing, that they just act really trippy and like you've insulted them. But in this specific lucid dream, there was a group of people and they ignored me like they normally do. But I pleaded again and they all gathered around me and were like, okay. And they just gave me some message that was so like eye-opening, but I didn't remember when I woke up because my dog had like woken me up. And it was just, but I woke up with that feeling of like, whoa, all of this makes sense now. So that's where I'm at in my journey for that.
Oh, wow.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So wait a second. Now, wait. If you're dreaming, how the heck do they have a say in what they... You're supposed to be God in your dreams. Hey, you don't get denied, and they don't have the... You see,
They deny you.
I'm seeing... This is why I don't dream now. I would, like, no, you obey me and snap my finger. I can't snap my fingers. That would be nice. Have a dream where I can actually snap my fingers. But I would snap my fingers and be a dictator. It's like, oh, you tell me. So why is it that they would flip out and not say anything? Now I'm going to a little paranormal, supernatural mess. Like, is it your characters or... Oh, wow, why did that freeze? Is it your characters or is it something else?
Oh, you did glitch there, which is like pretty interesting what you're bringing up now. I feel like it's still part of you because our subconscious can still be really stubborn and it gives you enough information that it feels you can handle at the time. That's why in a lot of cases of like trauma or, bigger situations where you block your memory because your subconscious wants to protect you. And also in the sense of fear too, it's bringing it up because it thinks something is unsafe. So the same thing with dreams, as you're getting deeper into the actual root of what that character, which is still about you, is representing. It's like, oh, we're getting too deep here. And that's my theory behind why it's like, whoa, maybe this is too much for you, and it just flips out. But it's part of you. So it's the part of me that's stubborn and is like, you're not ready to deal with all your issues.
Okay, so it's almost like a safety net. It's protecting you from yourself.
Yeah, it is. And in one trippy scenario, when that happened, I woke up and I was like with my mom and I was telling her about the dream, and it was another layered dream. Like then there was something off about the dream, and I'm like, wait a minute, I'm back in another dream. And it just kind of tricked me into this other like inception type thing. And yeah, it's just really trippy. It always happens to me. And I have found people that have similar experiences where they just flip out.
That, again, bizarre for me.
Yeah.
I it's just
I wish you many dreams tonight.
no, no, no. I need my rest tonight, but but it is very weird and different. Now, what about shared dreams? Because I heard that was a thing that sometimes somehow people are able to share dreams with one another.
Yeah, some cultures believe in that. The way that I have seen it, and I guess, oh, am I still here? My camera just,
You're here,
your
but you're frozen, huh?
camera. Why is it that whenever we are talking about this, it goes away?
I'm just going to say it's whatever spirits is around you and blame it on them.
Yeah, I mean, perfect for this podcast because it's never happened before. Um, oh wow, what was I saying?
Shared dreams
Shared
and
dreams.
cultures.
Yeah, so the way that I've worked with the thought of shared dreams is not necessarily in shared dreams, but that I think we can resolve issues with another person through dreams. The theory that I like is that we all have dream guides similar to spirit guides, and that we can connect with each other's guides to meet in dream world, work out our issues, and then have that resolution, even if you can't physically see that person, if they're being stubborn, you're being stubborn, or whatever the case is, and just have that feeling of resolving the situation. I have heard people say that, you can just confirm it by asking the person the dream. I did have one situation where, somebody just had a dream about me and I had something similar, and we were, we'll just leave it at that.
Uh-oh. Wait a
No, not
second.
like that. But, that I felt was more of a shared dream, and it was more like spiritual. But it was just a short experience.
I think it's more to this. She's not giving us the goods, folks. So, sorry. What a tease. Um, yeah, I won't lie. If I could have a shared dream with Elizabeth Hurley, I would die happy. So, um, now, this is a question from Doll, Daughters of Lilith, and I. It's kind of a weird one. I don't know if you can fully answer this, but she has two of them. But this first one is reoccurring dreams. What are they? Why do they happen? And can you tell us the meaning and some of the more common ones that you know of?
Yeah, so reoccurring dreams, I wouldn't say that they're like common reoccurring dreams, because reoccurring dream is just any dream that happens over and over again. It doesn't have to happen every day. It can happen once a year, once a few months, but you just know you have this deja vu when you wake up, like, I often have that dream. And it's like I mentioned earlier, your subconscious is nagging you to address something that you keep ignoring, either consciously or maybe you're not aware of, but it's something that's still happening in your waking life, and it's important for you to look at. Um, for the common ones, I mean, the ones we've talked about, chase dreams, teeth falling. For me, it's been being in a house that's not my own, or people breaking in. I'll have moments where they're reoccurring, and then I know that it's something that I need to look into. And the way that I do the dream healing with my clients is that, and when I've done it with myself too, is that reoccurring dream doesn't just stop when you find out what the root cause is and what the meaning is. It starts shifting into problem solving. So, for example, like my reoccurring dream of being in a house that wasn't my own and having like the previous owner's stuff everywhere, making me feel like it wasn't my own space and like scared of what might pop up. It started shifting into like, now I'll just call maintenance to fix, clear out things. Or what if I find something that's fun, make a pizza party out of it or whatever. And then finally, the last dream was an empty home that felt like my own. I was excited about it. So it shifts between nightmare, then problem solving, and then finally like a peaceful dream when you have that closure. And for some people, it can be quicker. So after I have a session, after I follow up, they'll have a similar dream, but this time they had that resolution, or they found what they had lost, or they were able to scream out when they thought they couldn't, things like that. It'll have that resolution. And that's how you know that whatever you're doing in your waking life is working. Like it's just reflecting back from your dream. So I hope that answered the question.
I think so. Nima, what
That's definitely helping out.
Yeah.
I have like a dream in mind that I keep having like every once in a while, and it's gotten better. Like the last one I had this week, it's the same dream, but a lot better.
Yeah.
So I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, well, again, don't you be a tease either. What's the dream?
Okay. So this one's like, it started out in a really shitty home. And like, I was really scared to go in this room that was off to the side. And there was a girl in there that would just like, it was like paranormal to me. And she'd always attack me every time I went in that room, but that was my room. So that dream kept happening. And I feel like the house got better. But this last one, the house was brand new and it was empty. It wasn't shitty anymore. And then my parents or whatever, they gave me a really nice room and they're like, oh, no, you can have this one and it's big and it's clean. And then I went in the room and I was like, oh, this is great, da da da. And then I go into the bathroom and this paranormal spirit or whatever yanks me by my hair and like paralyzes me with fear.
That's a happy ending, I thought. So a little improvement.
Yeah. But she still got me.
Interesting.
Well, shoot. That sounds like something from the Grudge or some mess. Like, what does she look like?
But I get the feeling it's me. Like, I get the feeling in every single dream that it's me. But it's still her. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does make sense. And like in house dreams, it's still representing like our private life, and the different rooms represent different areas of your private life. So that entity being in there, all of the people in the dreams represent us to a certain degree. So what is that kind of character so upset about, so aggressive, that needs to attack you every time you want to enter this private area in your home?
True.
Or maybe ask her what she represents when you lucid dream.
Yeah.
Let's flip out even more, maybe.
Oh my God, I need my hair.
What does she look like?
I just see like, usually it's just like a dark face. Like I really don't see her face. All I see is her like long hair. And that's it. It's not really vivid. It's more of just like a presence and dark figure with long hair. Not really specific.
I'm so terrible because I really just want it to be something that's like, I'm going to get you. And just...
Oh no. My
that would
subconscious.
I'm a terrible
We're all
person.
gonna have nightmares now.
I can't. I'm terrible. I'm sorry, but you know. But the throne room, darn, that's sacred ground, man. That sucks. But very interesting though that it did get better, only to like fool you. But you know, some progress is better than no progress.
Yeah.
And you know what, Meli, we're gonna put you on the spot. What was
I'm ready.
What was a bad dream that you had? Just like a terrible bad one where it's like, go away.
Oh wow, okay, a really bad dream. Okay, so a more recent reoccurring dream would be that I'm in this different house, but there's always like a hidden room that I never knew was there. And I like sometimes I get excited about like, oh, I'm gonna like fix it up and do something with it. And other times it's just like forbidden room, like you don't know what's in there. But in this one specific dream, there was like just a shadowy figure that was on the other side of the the room and everything was dark, the whole apartment, and everything was dark, and I had to get to the other door, and it was just this feeling of fear. That's the most that I can remember nightmare wise recently.
Now, Kitten in chat. Hi, Kitten. Hi, everyone in chat. I'm not ignoring you. You know, we're just doing our thing. But Kitten says, I dreamt once I was behind the eyes of a serial killer and watched as he murdered a few women. I couldn't stop him. I could only watch. It was horrific and bothered me for a long time.
This sounds like something we were talking about.
Yes.
It's like really similar.
Did they hear a conversation? Yeah, I mean, if you're in the eyes, behind the eyes of a serial killer, right? So were they the murderer essentially?
Are we
I
going?
can't read the chat actually.
Yeah, Kitty.
Yeah, she'll answer in a second, but yeah.
Okay.
What the heck?
I guess we can break down like murder and death dreams. I know that was something that was coming up. So some people come to me thinking like, especially when it's death, car crash, you know, kidnapping or something happening to their loved ones, where they feel like, whoa, this was so intense. This must be a warning of something that's going to happen. And prophetic dreams are really rare. Most of the time it's symbolic. So death dreams would be a part of you that you need to let go of, surrender, so that something else can come to life. We all have like all these different parts of us, which made me think of your dream with the shadowy figure that just comes out at you, maybe something that you're not embracing at the time. Things are getting better in the surroundings, but internally, maybe there is a part of you that you're not addressing or still wanting to keep in the shadows. So for death dreams, it's just the symbology of something dying, essentially, so that a new part of you can be reborn. But when you are the murderer or there's a murder, it's a similar concept, but now you are the one that's taking that in your own hands, if that makes sense, because there's still an element of death here.
Well, that covers your question, doll. So there you go. And Kitten says that I knew it wasn't me. I was desperate to stop him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Desperate to stop him. And it was women that he was killing, right?
Yep, he was killing women.
So here we can get into the characteristics of, we all have the feminine and masculine characteristics in our that we all have. The feminine being more of that nurturing, taking care of ourselves, honoring our bodies, and resting. Could there be a possibility where that part is not being taken care of and the masculine side is the one running the show? Like, I don't know if you are somebody who's always on the go. What else would be like masculine traits, like always action oriented and not taking time to rest? That would be more of a symbolic type of dream if we're looking at it that way, where it's killing off that feminine side, but the feminine side needs to also be some type of a healthy balance where you're resting and not always going on the go.
Oh boy.
Did I lose you there?
No, you didn't lose her. I just wish you can, kind of just spray some perfume or something. Like, there we go, feminine, or eat a chicken leg or turkey leg. There you go, masculine, done. It's just complicated.
It's just so much more to it. Yeah.
Yeah. And Daughters of Lilith, she has another question, and she says, this is an odd question, but if you die in your dream, is it possible to die in real life? Or what about people who die in their sleep? What's happening there? Well, I think that one is just, the body going, but anyway.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Meli. Take it.
I mean, I've never died in my dream per se. That's a good question. I've never run into that one. I actually have had people that have seen like their funerals and things like that, but not like in the actual dream where they are dying. So I wouldn't know how to answer that. I would answer it more like symbolic, like I mentioned earlier, but dying in dreams. Has anybody that's watching experienced that?
Have you ever, I think I've had like drowning dreams. Like I've died drowning, but
Yeah.
nothing else, I
Um,
don't think.
so Kitten just comes back with, "Oh, I died in my dream, and I'm okay. It was a trash compactor that killed her."
Oh no, that's
Wow.
like Final Destination. No.
So essentially, when you die in the dream, you then wake up, right? Or what happens after?
Yeah, Kitten, I might have to pop you on here cuz
Yeah.
yes, you can't leave us hanging off this cliff, but a trash compactor. That's terrible.
Yeah.
I mean, but maybe okay, I'm going to put on Melvin's little thinking cap here. But maybe it is literally you taking on too much and not expanding yourself, expanding your horizons, and everything is just swallowing you up until goes the
Mm-mm.
weasel.
And not only that, but adding to your very perfect interpretation, also things that are not that important because it's trash that's being compacted. It's things that you are able to throw away and let go, but they're still affecting you to the point of that.
She says that I was in the trunk of the car. I woke up scared, and she was 16 at the time.
Whoa. Whoa. Yeah. Wait, was that part of the trash
The car.
compacting
Yeah,
dream?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So then we add the element of the car, which car dreams and transportation dreams is how you're getting in your life, like how you are navigating your life towards your goals. But she's not in the passenger seat. She's not driving. She's in the trunk, and all of that is just being too much to handle. Like you said, compressing it. Things that aren't that are essentially ready to get rid of, things that should be getting rid of, and your subconscious knows that, but it's just too much. Does any of that resonate? Like whatever was going on during that time, was it things that you were taking on too much of didn't that didn't really what am I trying to say? Yeah, that weren't like valuable things. We're just holding on to things to hold on to them.
It's,
That I can't
it's
think
a
of.
delay, but she'll get to
Oh,
us.
okay.
In the meantime, Niema doll is being bossy, and she wants me to tell you that uh, she gets a sister like feeling from the ghost lady that's harassing you from your dreams. I don't know what
Mm.
sister is. I'm assuming it's a horror film or something, and I don't think you would like her very much. If so, and
Wait, I'm confused.
I know you are. It's okay. um, Kitten got back to us. She says it really was a death because after for a moment there was nothing but darkness. Maybe I thought I was trash. I was homeless from 13 to 16. Oh, wow. Oh, sibling. Oh, okay. Sorry. Real quick. She meant sister as in sibling. It's like
Oh,
it's
that's
your
right.
sister as okay. Well, ignore the man behind the curtain here. But back to Kitten. Yeah. Oh boy. That one's rough. So, but yeah, not almost like things aren't in your control. And,
Right.
being in that age, that's tough to deal with because what can you do? And it does feel like the world is closing in on you and you can't do a thing.
Mhm.
Stop smelling my foot. I'm so
Yeah, thank you for
sorry.
sharing that.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to break the toughness there. My cat just won't stop though. But I'm happy you're doing better now, kitten. You've come a long way, and now look at you. You're hanging out here with us, the cool people. Well, I guess those two are cool. I'm just the token, so that's fine. Um, so we mentioned murder, so we may as well go deeper into this. Niema witnessed a murder in her dream. Surprisingly, take us through that, Niema.
It was kind of similar to what one of the chat people were saying, but it wasn't through the eyes of the serial killer. It was like a double-sided mirror. Like I was watching it. Um, and then 2 girls were dead and he was killing the third one. And I was just like watching her face drain of life. And yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting that you mentioned mirror because there are different types of dreams as well. I probably should have started with that at some point. But most of the interpretations that I do are subconscious, like the symbolic meanings that we've been talking about today. But there are different types of dreams, like prophetic dreams, lucid dreams, you know, passed over loved ones visiting. And there is one called mirror dreams where you don't always see a mirror there, but it is a reflection, and it can show like the reflection of that, not a murderous trait. I'm not trying to say that, but the some trait in that you are, it's being reflected back to you. And here I would, maybe ask you to, how would you represent, or how would you explain what a murderer is if somebody didn't know what that word meant?
Like, I have no idea. Someone who kills someone who drains their life force.
Yeah, takes away their life, takes something from them, right? So is there like a reflection of maybe even part of you that is taking something away from you, from yourself, or someone around you during the time of the dream that you feel like you're just watching them take what they shouldn't be taking, or taking the life force, the energy away from somebody, not in a murderous type of way, but just energetically, vibrationally. It can be with you as well if it's something that it's reflected back to you, and I don't know, certain habits maybe. I don't know, you I don't want to like just put biased thoughts out there, but ways of looking at it to where it's a nightmare, yes, but if you break it down into these symbols and try to see how it ties into your waking life to get an interpretation.
Okay. Yeah, that kind of makes sense when you put it like that, I think. It's easier to work out.
Again, this is all beyond me. I've never had a dream about a murderer or being murdered or anything like that. Man, I am definitely missing out. um, so, in your experience, Meli, how much would you say social media and I guess entertainment in general, how much can that affect us in the dream world?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of, there's a tendency now to scroll right before bed. So those images can, seep through into your dreams if you're watching, a scary movie, or specifically with social media, all of the controversy that's out there, that we're scrolling and watching debates and, just people torn different opinions, that can really affect our dreams, because then our own emotions are going to come out too, and the fear that's just coming out of all media outlets, that just adds to it. So we do see more of the nightmares and more of those types of emotions coming up from all of that consumption. And we've been online for a while. I mean, I've been online since before everybody was doing it, but now we're doing more Zoom and more broadcasting all of the stuff that's going on in the world. So that can definitely affect us in our dreams.
And how do you close that out of your space? How do you just like, no, this will not affect me tonight? What do you do? What's your secret?
Yeah, I mean, not scrolling before bed, and having like an actual nighttime routine where that's where the yoga comes in, something that, whatever your practice is, something that moves your body so that you can be comfortable as you're going to be in bed for the next 6 to 8 hours. Something to move your body, something to work through your mental chatter, like journaling. And then something maybe for the spirit. You can add some essential oils or candle gazing to just really clear out and cleanse yourself from everything that's just being thrown at us every day, through all of these outlets. Doing that, at least, I mean, even 30 minutes before bed would be great. An hour to two would be even better, but having some type of practice that works for you so that you can detach from the waking life chaos that is this life we live in right now, and our dreams. And yeah, some of it might still come through because dreams essentially are processing, the last few days and everything that we're going through, but at least it's not going to be, there creates some separation too.
So one thing that I do before I go to sleep, evidently it's pointless for me, but one thing I do is my routine is I like to drink something sweet, usually some orange juice or lemonade. I haven't done that recently because trying to lose some weight sucks, but whatever. And I before I go to sleep, I think about money. And that's what puts me out. I imagine like, yes, the money, and that calms me, and I'm just whoop. So, there you guys go. That I mean, come on, who doesn't want money?
Yeah, it's a good way to manifest it too, right? If you're thinking about it right before bed, and
Yeah,
it's just
yeah. So, shameless plug. If you guys want a tarot, feel free to hit me up, please, because I would like some money. But no, like on a serious note, it gets your mind off of everything else. And it's important that we do that because it is a lot of nonsense in the world and opinions that no one wants to hear or see. And, you get them anyway. So, yeah, I think about money. That's what gets me like, yes, happy, sleep, wake up. Uh, okay, so Melly, what's a favorite dream of yours that you've had?
yeah. A favorite one of mine was actually a recent one I had. I have, I mentioned I had severe anxiety in the past. Now
Mhm.
it's under control and I can leave my home, but I haven't traveled in a while after an experience I had. And I recently had a dream where I went back to where I was from, and just the people in the dream were cheering me on. And it just kind of really felt like I have done the work enough to actually go and book a flight and do it. So it's not like super out there, but it was just like a direct representation of my journey. And that's one that's like been near and dear to my heart recently. Um, but like a cooler one, I guess, would be one where I was visiting another place and there was just this beautiful waterfall that was very colorful and like, like just sparkling. And I don't remember what else happened, but there was a meaning behind, like, I've been too absorbed with social media that I was kind of like just concerned about posting it on Instagram, but it was just the feeling of experiencing that. And it looked really pretty. But yeah, most of my dreams are related to my journey and more like normal type dreams, but reflecting back to all the work that I'm doing on myself.
Okay, so you dream in color
Sometimes.
sometimes. Yeah, I know that was a debate not too long ago, like whether more people dream in color versus black and white. And I think a study came out saying people are now starting to dream more and more in color because TVs are no longer black and white.
Mm.
So I mean, it makes sense. I mean, but I don't know. I think it's debatable because when it's dark, our eyes turns into a type of night vision black and white mode. So it's like, eh. So I think it's debatable. I don't think that's exactly what it is. I think it's just kind of like our eyesight doing whatever while we're sleeping. And oh, Doll wants to know real quick, where are you from?
Me, I'm from El Paso, Texas.
Okay, so there you go, Doll. She's from El Paso, Texas. So if you get a visitor and it's a short, cute chick, that'll be her. Um, really, Kitten? Okay, that's interesting. So Kitten just said she's never had a dream in black and white. She didn't even know it was possible.
My theory behind that is that it also depends on the person, the people that are more creative and visual, because like not everybody can visualize as you're meditating in color or actually see, imagery. Some people just see black and white or can't really visualize things. So I think it has a lot to do with that as well.
Okay. So the heck? I don't know if you guys heard that or not, but I could have sworn I just heard a voice moan.
I heard some feedback coming in.
Okay, whatever. I'll worry about it later. So I'm going to dive into a dream of mine, a semi dream, and we were talking about this before we got started. And it's one of those things where you're not asleep, but you're not awake. What do you call that? Like that in between space?
I call it limbo
Yeah.
state.
Okay. So limbo. Actually, you know what? Before we get to that, we'll save that for the finale, I think. But insomnia, actually, because a friend of mine, he suffers from insomnia, and have you experienced insomnia at all? And is there any way of dealing with that you know of?
Yeah, that was when I first started diving into dream work. I was having insomnia. I was waking up like every 2 to 3 hours. And what worked for me at the time, but I didn't like, I was taking
Hmm.
melatonin, and it would knock me out within 30 minutes, but I would wake up so startled after like exactly 5 hours, like somebody just shook me awake, and I would be like afraid and my heart would be racing, and I didn't really like that. And I did get over the insomnia. I was doing all of the inner work, the yoga. I was using essential oils that are like mild sedatives but are natural, um, using crystals, all the things. But I would start with the essential oils because that's something that you can like smell and work on your practice, and um, making sure that all the lights are out, that you're not using electronics because that blue light really affects you. But little by little, it can work. Just starting with one thing and really looking at what you're doing right before bed as well. What's causing that insomnia?
Oh boy. Well, I know he has a lot going on through his head. He's one of those thinkers, we'll say. So,
Mhm.
uh, and oh, and real quick, Afro Samurai. My inner nerd's coming out, but I can't help but think of the anime Afro Samurai. Awesome show. Anyway, oh, I got one for dreams. Yesterday, I had a dream of a world of black flames, and I watch a flame dance all around. Still have no idea what that means.
A world of flames. Interesting.
Black flames. He was very specific
Black
on that.
flames. Yeah, so I mean, here's where we start seeing the elements, and the fire being something very that you're passionate about, or maybe like it depends what they felt in the dream. Was it like fiery passion, or was it like anger, the world bursting out in anger? Because I know a lot has come up that's made a lot of us angry. So it depends what they were experiencing too, what else they saw, what they felt.
Yeah, well, don't worry. We're not PC here. We'll say it. Supreme Court, you're stupid. I'll even say it in Spanish for you. El stupido, Supremo Corto. So,
And it seems really symbolic of like literally the world is bursting in flames now. The black flames, black in general could represent the unknown. Um, yeah, unknown, mysterious. And I hesitate on saying a lot of these symbols because I don't want to put my bias on them, but these are like universal symbols, but also consider your own symbols. What does black mean to you? If that's your favorite color, then that might have a different interpretation for you.
yeah, and plus, good guys wear black like Batman. So, um, all right. So, on to my little weird thing from Limbo World. And so, this actually happened earlier this year. And you'll appreciate this since you're a yogi, and it involves what appear to be Lord Shiva. And of course, he's the god of yoga. He's the yogi. And it wasn't him, though. So I remember I was in this very vast area, like a subspace, and sitting in front of me was this deity that resembled Lord Shiva. It wasn't him, but it resembled him. And I know it wasn't him because I happen to really like Lord Shiva. And the matted hair wasn't there, the snake around the neck wasn't there, River Ganju wasn't there. And it almost looked like a representation of myself, to where I was like, is this my higher self? What is this? What's happening here? And I remember he was sitting cross-legged and he had four arms. Two of his hands was like this where his heart was, the other two, one was out and open, and the other was holding a type of rod or a hammer or something. And as I was looking at this, it was almost like information started to come to my head where he was sitting on the ground, and it was like, whoa, this is like an earth element. This is a grounding effect. This is to keep yourself grounded. Don't be too up in the air. You have to remain focused. And then as I was looking at him more and more, it got to the heart. And with that, energy came from the heart, and it surrounded him and almost created wings, but it was in the form of the infinite symbol. And energy poured out and went somewhere and came back. And then it hit me like, oh my gosh, we're all connected. We're all freaking connected through the heart, through energy. Every person we meet, whether they're right next to us or over the internet, we're exchanging energy, and we take a little bit of them in us and vice versa. So you have to be careful who you associate with. It's very important you choose your friends wisely, because we do become who we hang out with, who we associate with. And energy can't be destroyed. It only changes. And they have the power to change us, and we have the power to change them. And it's infinite. It's a cycle that will forever go on, and it's stored in our heart. And from there, went to the head, and I saw the third eye opening, just whoop. And it was about visualization and seeing beyond, feeling beyond, and not shutting yourself out, not shutting yourself down, but being open and allowing things to come your way, and to, visualize what it is that you want as well. Put out that desire to receive that desire. And then it went to the hands, and this one, the left one, being that it was extended out, it's for not being afraid to give, but also be open to receiving. Don't be so closed off and antisocial, because if you have a closed fist, you get nothing, you give nothing. It's just frightening. You see someone with a fist, it's like, oh. An open palm goes further than a closed fist, and if need be, a slap still hurts somebody, and it's more insulting. And then to the rod, or whatever that was that he was holding in his right hand. And with this one, it was like a flame element associated to it. And it's like creation, seeing it, bringing it into creation, hammering, like blacksmithing. And I put it all together, and it's like, oh boy. So it's like, you have to be grounded and be able to focus. And I'm sorry, you're the one supposed to be talking, and here I am yapping. So sorry about that, guys.
No, go ahead.
You're the one, or excuse, yeah, we're the ones who are supposed to be grounded, so our mind doesn't go all over the place, so we can focus and we can establish our energies to visualize what it is we need to visualize. And visualization actually starts from the heart, and we gather energy from around us, from this world, to inspire us. We see it, we visualize it, we hammer that son of a monkey's uncle in, and we create it, and we share. We give it out, and we share, and we allow people to share with us. And like, that was the dream. I woke up from it, like, with the information download, and I was just like, the heck was that?
Wow.
Yeah, and it was, like I said, it resembled Lord Shiva, but I know it wasn't Lord Shiva. And yeah, so there you go. Sorry, I'm throwing my nuts on you. Oh gosh, that came out wrong. Oh dear. I'm throwing my crazy on you. There you go.
I mean, you interpreted it beautifully, and I think that's a perfect example of a spiritual dream, that it's, you pieced it together. It's different than what you're used to, because you're used to no dreams at all, and you actually received a download, and that's beautiful. It's a beautiful message.
Darn it, Meli, you have failed me. You're supposed to you're not supposed to say you interpreted.
Tell her the one with the dragon.
Oh, the drag. Okay, so
she might be able to interpret.
So this
And
one,
I do want to say here real quick that like at the end of the day, you all are your best interpreters. So like how could I come up and say, no, you're wrong? This is
very easily, you're supposed to say, no,
has
you're
nothing to
wrong.
do with that. You just need to work more or something like that. Like, no, that's a beautiful downloaded message that you got.
Okay, so this recent one that Niema mentioned, and I actually got the occultist point of view for this one, and it had to do with Belial, but let's get your interpretation for this one, because I have no freaking idea. And it was again in that weird sleep state limbo thingy, and this time it was myself in a very beautiful plain of some sort. Like it was an open plains. It was a very beautiful day. It was a stillness as well, though, and I remember seeing a giant army or of warriors, whatever, and they weren't modern. They weren't in Kevlar. They resembled samurai, but they weren't samurai, and the armor was all black, and they were charging into battle. I didn't see who they were fighting or anything, but they were charging into battle, just intense, very intense. I wasn't afraid or nothing. I was just looking at this like, huh, well, that's interesting. And behind them, or with them rather, not behind them, with them was this giant freaking dragon. And when I say giant, we're talking skyscraper, Godzilla size dragon. I have not seen Godzilla, or nothing like that. He was not an influence, but this thing was huge, and it was all black, and it was stepping over buildings, small buildings, and everything, and it was intense as well. But when I was looking at it, and it reminded me of the scales of the dragon, the one true dragon, which is basically another way of saying divinity or the universe, life, whatever. And again, this was kind of another download thing. And it was just very fierce, very powerful, but it didn't feel threatening to me. And these warriors, these soldiers, the mock samurai, they were with this dragon. It's like, no, we're with you. I'm fighting for you. Like it was almost a part of it. And it was just very, very intense. And it's like just charging forward. And it actually got me to thinking about perfections and imperfections, and how if we look at the scales of the dragon, the one true dragon, none of us are perfect. There are imperfections with us all. And in order for us to be perfect, we have to combine and join together and accept our imperfections. And those who do not, those who think they're perfect and like, I don't need this or that, they get swallowed by this dragon, and then they get spit out, or the skin is shed and they're not with the group of imperfect people. And it's like, you missed out, buddy. You're so imperfect that you don't realize it, and you won't accept that. And all of these guys together charging, it's imperfection as one. And yeah, so that was like the info I got from that. And then I woke up like, again, what the heck was that?
Were these dreams close to each other in dates?
Months apart.
Months apart. And you read the tarot, right? As I see all your,
Yeah,
your
I
tarot.
read. Yeah, I read tarot. I don't have a dragon deck.
Yeah, no, but when you mentioned the army, I started thinking of, although they're fighting against each other, I think it's the Five of Swords, where they are. Is it the Five of Swords?
Six. I think you're thinking of the Six of Wands, where it's conflict. Or Five of Wands, excuse me.
Yeah, okay, the Five of Wands, but they're all in union. And the first dream made me think of the magician that you have back there with the rod and the hand and the infinity. Both of these dreams are super different, and they do sound like downloads, but they have something in common with both messages being of unity. One with all of the army working together with the dragon and divinity, and the other one with the heart element that was bringing the energy back. So it is that element of union, but also connecting with your own spirituality with that dragon. And like you mentioned, not feeling like you have to do things alone, feeling that connectedness with the people around you, with your own practice. That element of the unknown, which we talked about with the color black, like being okay with the unknown. I don't know how you feel about that, because you're an earth sign as well. And earth signs sometimes just like to know. Maybe that's why you do the tarot, right? I've done the tarot too, where it's like, I must know, and pull cards. So being okay with the unknown and knowing that you are not alone in that sense. And you didn't feel threatened by it either. So
No, it wasn't threatening at all. It just very intense. I mean, how can it not be? You see a giant freaking skyscraper dragon, and it's like, oh boy.
And the fire with the dragon connects to the fire in the rod that you had in the first dream. So like, even though they were months apart, it still has like a connection of messages where it'll show up in a different way for you, even though these specific elements showed up in different ways. Still in a download message and a spiritual message.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have a few other download dreams, but we'll save that for another time. Well, that's if you ever want to come back. You might be like, no, this is the one and done. You're too weird. So
I would love to come back. And something that I would like just suggest for you, if you'd like to work on your dreams more, is pulling some cards right before bed and seeing how, like, when I've done this, the message in the cards kind of became a dream itself. And that might be a way for you to work with your dreams and the tarot that you already feel connected to. Or just in the morning to see what message, you missed out while you were in deep sleep.
now, you see, that's something that I never do. I never pull cards for myself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and that's the reason for that is because we tend to influence it, and we see what we want to see, not necessarily what we need to, because it's like, oh no, the tower, oh, this is bad, and blah blah blah. It's like, well, maybe it isn't. So I'm very iffy when I pull a card. I'll just, Niema, pull some cards for me, go.
Oh, wow. I feel like I influence when people read cards for me. I feel like I influence it too much, like where I always see what I want to see.
Yeah, I think with confirmation bias. I think we all do that from time to time, because we don't want to hear bad news or anything like that. But doll, I'm gonna have to save that for you next time. Okay, I will relook at this and write it down, because I will not remember it. But I'll save that question for you for next time. She already agreed to come on again, so she's locked in. Sorry, Meli, you cannot escape us. You're toast now. So welcome to the Unexplained family. And
Thank you.
So we're gonna start closing out, and here's a good one to close out on. And I kind of asked you this beforehand, but how does astrology help you with the individual and their dreams?
Yeah, when you look at somebody's natal chart, you can see what and connected to certain reoccurring dreams that they have. You can kind of see what dreams show up more and why, because of how much elements or where the planets are placed in their natal chart. And you can also see what was happening in the sky the moment they had the dream that was influencing that matter as well. So it's like the guidance from the sky, the influences from the planets, also connected to your subconscious and the things that you were processing in your day. So that's how I combine the two. Also, like the full moons, new moons, those are easy ways to check. But that's how I connect them.
Would you say that the moon would affect women more so than men when it comes to dreaming, or do you think it's equal?
I feel like maybe women, we are a bit more connected to that with our own moon cycle, is what I would invite you to check along with your moon cycle as well. But I find that guys are influenced just as well by following the moon. The ones that are open to it, have their third eye open, and are on the spiritual journey as well.
Okay, so, and I think this is a good place to call it. What about you, Niema?
Cool.
All right, we'll go with that. Um, Meli, where can people find you if they want to hire you for dream interpretation or even helping them, understand their dreams or pass out easier or something like that?
Yeah, so I'm mostly on Instagram, the_dreaming_yogi, where you can find all of my links at thedreamingyogi.org. And I have a bunch of free resources like a dream guide meditation that you can meet your guide today, or workbooks to help you remember your dreams. So you could just send me a message, I'll point you to the right direction or browse through my website.
And those links can be found in the description below. Nima, you have anything you want to add?
Nope, I'm just focusing on school right now. So
Okay, Miss Fashionista.
nothing new.
So, thank you guys for coming. I hope you enjoyed. This was a fun one. I enjoyed it. And
Yeah, I did too.
while you guys are down there checking out the description and clicking on links to Meli stuff, be sure to follow Unexplained Possibilities on Facebook, Twitter, Reddit, and Instagram. And with that said, remember, guys, there are things that go bump in the night. Go ahead and tell them hi. Bye, everybody.